Welcome to another episode of the Let Me Talk show. I am your host, SOLARMAN, because I am truly out of here. Do I need to clean my screen? Probably. Jesus, peace. We don't have $1 million budget yet, people. So you have to bear with me if you can. If you can, bear with me. But I appreciate you being here on this Hump Day special. This is another episode of Let Me Talk. And again, I am your humble guest and host. I'm sorry. I am your humble host, SOLARMAN. And it is a pleasure for me to have those of y'all that's going to be watching this back. It's a pleasure if you can see the budget is low. It's a pleasure to have y'all here. It's a pleasure to have y'all here. You know what I mean? It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to have y'all here. So today, how long do I want to wait for people to get in here? Hi, what up? What up, Light Blue? It's a pleasure to have you here. And for those of y'all that's going to be tuning in, it's a pleasure to have y'all here as well. If you got something to eat on, snack on, sip on, go ahead and do that because you're in the right place on this Wednesday night Hump Day special. We got a good one for you today. We're talking about everything from infidelity, lust, giants, ancient Tartaria, the Great Wall of China. I mean, where else can you get all that information just compacted into one place with raw, unfiltered facts, truth, conspiracy, and conjecture? I think this is the best place to do it. I am the biggest, by the way. Again, I go by the name of SOLARMAN for those of y'all who's going to be checking this out in the future. So go ahead and sit back and relax again because you're at the right place. Hey, how you doing, Light Blue? Again, I hope you're having a good day from whatever part of the world that you are watching from. I hope your hump day is going as you anticipated or even better. I'll give it till about 2:50, and then we're going to go ahead and just get started. You know what I mean? Look, remember our last convo with the guy who talked about the gods and spirits? Sure. What would you like to talk about in relation to that before I get started with my topics? Go ahead. I'll answer one. Yeah. You see, I got a pretty photographic memory. You know, I be remembering stuff. You know what I mean? Welcome in, everybody. For those of y'all that's just going to be tuning in, I go by the name of SOLARMAN. This is my Wednesday show. Let me talk. This is the part of the night where you sit back, relax, grab you something to drink, grab you something to eat, and sit back and have a dope conversation with a pretty dope, chill guy. I'm your host. I'm that dope, chill guy. So let's see. We're at about 3 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Michigan football head coach has been fired from his position because of infidelity. He's been fired and released of his position, and he lost out on a $30 million contract because of an affair that he had with a assistant of his. That's what happened. That's my first topic. And why lust is the downfall of humanity. Lust is the downfall of all great men and women. And lust is the reason that this country is in a downward trajectory and that this world is in a downward trajectory because of lust. And I'm going to prove it in just a second. Welcome in, everybody. I appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget to double tap the screen, like, comment, share, subscribe, because we are the biggest, by the way. I go by the name SOLARMAN. I'm literally out of here because nowhere else on the planet will you find somebody that looks as good as me and you talking about something of substance and talking about something that actually has something of value and adding something of value to you every single conversation. So you want to make sure you tap in with us, double tap that screen, share it with your people because we only spit useful information over here. That's all we do. And we're bigger than anybody that you can think of for facts. This is the smallest that we'll ever be. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see what y'all talking about. Solar, what up with it, bro? What's up with it, bro? What's up with it? Oh, man. What's up is the potential of our conversation. That's what's up, dog. I hope you having a good hump day. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's going better than anticipated. And I hope that you living good and treating yourself good, too. So it's a pleasure to see you here. Thank you. Yo, what up? Like the live, share it up, share it out. Yeah. I believe that let's go ahead and answer this one question before we talk about that infidelity topic real quick. Let's go ahead and answer this one question real quick. I believe demons. I believe that there are demons. I went through something. I only believe in Jehovah, God, and Jesus Christ now. What's going on, brother? It's a pleasure to see you back here. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come have and sit and have a dope conversation with us again. To that point of, I only believe if I've had anything to do with that, you please you humble me with that information. It almost brings tears to my eyes because that means that I'm being useful for the kingdom. You know, then you're gonna get me emotional. That means that I'm being used for the kingdom correctly, and I have lived a worthy life because at least one person has heard the good news and has turned to something that is useful, and that is something that can bring the most out of their potential and out of their soul. So it's not me that did that. It's the spirit that's being used through me to have a conversation that hopefully helped you turn to that realization. So that's what's up, dog. Speaking of this type of stuff, though, let's just talk about lust real quick. The Michigan head football coach got fired from his job for having sex with his assistant. And then when he got caught, he broke into his assistant's house and threatened to kill her. And she was pregnant too. And this is a married man, by the way. This man has over, I believe, 3 children. Had a wife. Had a wife. Had a wife. I'm pretty sure he ruined that. Has a wife. Had a wife. 3 kids. Successful man. I believe he might be one or two of black head coaches in Michigan's football program, maybe if not the first. You know what I mean? So we're still kind of like in prehistoric times for a lot of stuff as far as race is concerned, but that's not necessarily what this conversation is about today. Anyways, I'm saying he messed up a major opportunity because he had no mushroom control. Y'all know what I want to say. He could not control this. He couldn't control it. So because he couldn't control it, and he let his lowest desires manifest into his reality, he has lost everything. And he is a perfect example of who not to be in this world and why you should always strive for discipline of your thoughts, right? I myself included, I've been in positions of power. I've had employees. I've almost ruined opportunities by flirting or fraternizing with my employees. I'm telling you, it's not just this guy. I'm not here to let me try to silence this real quick. We got different work phones and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I myself have almost ruined opportunities because of not having any type of sexual discipline. Sexual discipline is the thing that's either going to make or break you, right? So let's just break it down even further. Sexual discipline is the thing that's going to make or break you. But furthermore, the fall of humanity, the fall of mankind has always been rooted in a lack of sexual discipline. That's always been the case. You can go back to biblical times. Adam and Eve, and why the reason that since the fall of humanity, like since sin was introduced into the world, is because of lack of sexual discipline. You'd be like, what? It was just the apple, right? That Eve got introduced to. What do you think the apple really was? I think the apple really was, that serpent or the accuser probably had relations with Eve. I think that's more in line what happened, and she came back with some enlightenment from an affair that she had. And that he had, that Adam as well. I don't blame everything on women. It's not what I sit here and do, But in relation, what's going on? Hola. It's nice to see you. Our numbers are going to add up as the conversation concludes or gets, builds up. Sexual discipline is a thing that's going to make or break you in this life. Sexual discipline is a thing that's going to keep you either in a position of power, in strength and success, or crumble you and the world around you. Sexual discipline. This Michigan head football coach, because of the weakness of his eyes and the weakness of his thoughts, ruined his life. Not saying he can't rebuild and start over, but he's ruined his legacy. He's ruined his reputation. He's ruined his family. And he's now facing criminal charges. So now he's ruined his job application status, all because of not being able to control his mushroom. He had no mushroom control. So these people are, speak through me, Lord. These people are prime examples of why it's important to have discipline. So let me get further into that. What happened? Well, I just told you what happened, but furthermore, what happened was one of the things that got him caught is that there. So this is what y'all need to understand too. And again, I've been an employee. I've also been an employer. I've also hired people. I've also been hired, so I know both sides of the fence. And what happens is that when you're at a workplace, there is nothing done at that workplace that isn't noticed by everybody. That's the one thing that you need to remember. If you're considering doing anything with your fellow coworker, you just need to realize that there's nothing done that won't be noticed by staff, other employees. There's no hiding that type of sexual energy. There's no hiding that. This nigga keeps sending me shit. Excuse me. Niggas keep sending me shit. I don't know. Anyway, there's no hiding that. Everybody can tell when y'all be flirting, or everybody can tell that y'all like each other. Like everybody can tell that. It's not a hard thing to notice. So what happened was he had an assistant. I'm not sure how long they had been having this affair. But he had a female assistant, which I never suggest as a male, by the way. Just don't put yourself in a position of weakness. You know what I mean? But anyways, he had a female assistant. Her salary increased 50% over the span of 2 years, 55% over the span of 2 years. I don't know what he thought would happen. Like, I don't know if he thought that his employer, which is the University of Michigan, wouldn't notice such a drastic increase. Like, they didn't get to be this D1 powerhouse by not paying attention to their books. Like, that's not what they do. That's not what they do. And he should understand that, being that he's in that position, that he was in that position of authority, he should understand that, you know where you at, right? You know, we watching you, right? And you black. I mean, not again, you black, bro. You stand out, period. You stand out, period. And you thought that we wouldn't notice a 55% increase to an assistant whose position did not change, but only her salary changed. You don't think we would notice this? So he's been under investigation for a while, but the main thing that kicked it off was that the main thing that led to his firing was that 55% increase. And then after he got fired, that is when his world started crumbling down around him, because what will happen is that when you get into a position of power and authority and success, and you start making a certain amount of money, I've made not nearly as much money as him, but I'm on my way. You know what I mean? But anyways, what I'm saying is that when you get to a position where you're making all this bread, when you got some authority and you got some status and you got people checking and looking up to you and for you for the answer, you get this kind of like, what's the word? You get this superiority complex. Like, you almost kind of feel like invincible. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he was feeling invincible. I mean, I'm the head coach of a D1 program, D1 collegiate program. I get people to the NFL. I do all this recruiting all over the country. I got staff, this amount of staff up under me. I got these people checking for me. It's a boss position. It's a boss level position. And he fumbled it because he had weak knees. He fumbled it because he had that Jezebel spirit in him. He fumbled it because he did not have any discipline of his eyes. He fumbled it because he bought into a culture of promiscuity. Yeah, I'm blaming it on the culture too, not just him. Because I think in this culture, I know in this culture, we celebrate and we tolerate a lot of degeneracy, a lot of, I mean, if you look at, that's why I put in the thumbnail some, just an example. If you look at our culture and the type of shows that we frequent and the type of movies that, you know, they're all scandalous type of shows. They're all hypersexual type of shows. The music is scandalous, hypersexual. The dressing of men and women is scandalous. It's hypersexual. So the culture is wrong. But what you're supposed to be doing when you're in a position of power, what you're supposed to be doing when you're in a position of power like this, is you're supposed to have had discipline in order to get to this position in the first place. Like, he's not supposed to be going for something like that. You supposed to get that out your system when you supposed to get that out your system when you an assistant. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to get that out your system, boy. And then you're gonna do it with somebody who's in the same office as you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's ways for you. I'm not telling y'all to do this, but I'm saying if you're gonna be a degenerate, don't do it where you sleep at. Don't do it where you live at. You know what I'm saying? It's an old saying where they say no shit where you eat. You know what I'm saying? He had diarrhea where he ate at. He increased his woman's salary by 55%. Do y'all know how much this is? She was making about $53,000 a year. You know, a normal salary, a normal job, about $53,000 a year. She went from making $53,000 a year to almost $200,000 a year in 2 years, in the span of 2 years. Did you not think that they was gonna notice this? Nah, bro, you stupid, bro. You're dumb. You're dumb. You were literally, and that's literally the definition of what they call thinking with your, you know what I'm saying? That's literally that. That's literally that. You know, and he's a prime example of what not to do. You know, he's definitely an example for me. You know what I mean? He's definitely an example for me, and he's definitely a reminder like, hey, I don't want no female assistants. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I used to think I did. You know what I'm saying? I used to think, oh, that's gonna be cool. No, because I was brought up in a society where degeneracy is celebrated until it's prosecuted, and that's what's happening to him. It's prosecuted in a what's the word, in a federal level. I think he's getting federal felony charges pressed against him again because he threatened his woman's life. You know, and I got to bring race into it, just because, you know, it just amplifies the situation. The blonde hair white girl, he's going down. He's going down. He's going under the jail. Dark skinned black dude had an affair, got her pregnant. Blonde hair white girl. Oh yeah, he's going under the jail. You know what I mean? He's going under the jail. He's going under the jail. What did you think was gonna happen, bro? Like, what was the best possible scenario that you think would happen? This girl is pregnant, bro. That same, and then you got to think about it like this. You got to think about it like this. Michigan head football coach is what I'm talking about right now. You got to think about it like this. When you are, I've done this as well, and so I'm not talking from a place of ignorance. You got to think about it like this, bro. When you have sex with multiple people, and then, you know, he got her pregnant, so that means he was unprotected. He was having raw sex with this girl. He was going in raw and then going back to his wife. That's carrying all types of energy, all types of spirits, all types of, you know, that's how STDs get transferred too. You know what I'm saying? He did not consider his wife in this. I feel bad for her. I do. It's not even a smart thing, bro. It's a discipline thing, bro. It's a discipline thing, bro. And this company ain't pay me no money, so they don't get to have their brand put on my channel. I don't care how many people watch me. You gotta pay me for that. Yeah, you gotta pay me for that. I ain't doing no brand. You gotta pay me for that. Yeah. It's not about being smarter, bro. It's about being disciplined. It's about being disciplined, bro. This guy was not disciplined at all. Yeah, I'd have pappy for sure with that white gal. You know better than to do something with that white gal, boy. You know better than that, boy. You know better than that. Well, if you didn't know, now you know now, because you've lost everything. You lost your wife. You lost the respect of your wife and your wife. You lost the respect and probably your kids, the relationship with your kids, because that's their mama. I can't respect you and you just did that to my mama. You are embarrassing. You're an embarrassment to me. So you lost the respect of your kids. You lost the respect of your reputation. Now, he went from making $30 million over the span of like 2-3 years to now he gonna be lucky to get a job, bro. I hope he had more than $2 million saved up, but she gonna take that in the divorce court for the kids. You played yourself, dog. You played yourself. And this is a great example for men and women to not lead with lust, because lust is the downfall of humanity. Lust is the reason that we are in a fallen state. Yes, lust of the eyes and lust of the mind. This country is in a fallen state because of lust of the mind, because we want to be the greatest. What does the greatest even mean? What does that even mean to be the greatest? The greatest at what? Just because we be beating everybody in the Olympics and the physical games and in the basketball games and in the swimming game, just because we're physically more astute than the rest of the world, primarily speaking, we're not the greatest in any area. We're not the greatest in healthcare. We're not the greatest in mathematics. We're not the greatest in ingenuity. We're not the greatest in race relations. We're not the greatest in the civil liberties of our people. We're not the greatest on any stretch of the imagination. So what is it that we were aspiring to be? Well, in theory, we were aspiring to be the greatest in all those areas I just mentioned, but we fall short. We fall short because through capitalism, and I'm not against capitalism per se. We've had that conversation before. I'm not against capitalism per se, but through capitalism, we've allowed ourselves to be perverted and to allow really anybody and anything who got some money and can pay their way to get their shit off. Yo, have y'all ever sat back and watched Looney Tunes? Yeah, I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back to this. I'm taking it to cartoons. Have you ever sat back and watched Looney Tunes? Like actually watched it as an adult? Do you know how weird that shit is, bro? And the type of themes that are being promoted in Looney Tunes? Now, I'm talking about a cartoon. I'm talking about a cartoon. I am. But do you know how weird that shit is, bro? Domestic violence, racism, murder, promiscuity, homosexual themes. I'm not against you if that's what you do, but I'm just saying that this is the stuff that's in our cartoons and has, so like people be complaining about, shows aren't like they used to be. You damn right they're not like they used to be. At least now they admit that, this is what they're doing. Even then they just would sneakily put it in your face and then package it as if it's meant for kids. At least now they're saying like, hey, no, this is a gay show. We got a trans man in here. You know what I'm saying? Or this is what this is. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of like appreciate that more. Going back to the Michigan head football coach though, yeah, bro, he played himself, bro. He played himself because he didn't have no dick control, bro. He saw a girl that was smiling too hard, knowing that he was a married man. I'm not just blaming him. I'm blaming her too. It takes two. But, they both fell into lust. And that lust. So let's talk about why we lust in the first place sexually, outside of the lust of accomplishments and other things like that. I would argue that the only reason that people want to truly be successful in this life is to impress the opposite sex. I would argue this. I would argue that the only reason that men care so much about being the biggest boss and having the most money and having the biggest house and the biggest cars and the most jewelry and the most in my pocket, so I can have sex with the most amount of women. I would argue that women only want to be as successful or more successful than men to accomplish some form of superior idea in their head, to feel some self-fulfilling prophecy in their head through the lust of their ideas. I would argue that that's it's a conquest mindset. I would argue that the only reason people care about anything is to flex on one another or to flex for something. That's what I would argue. I would argue this. I would argue this, and I believe I would be correct. Because there's no reason, bro, that you should have this young white girl as your personal assistant being this close to you when you got a wife. As a married man, bro, I need to do everything in order to protect my relationship. And that's the first thing that I do is I put the Most High, I put God above my relationship. That's the first thing that I do. And then the second thing I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna be alone with no first, forget if she white or not. I'm not gonna be alone with no female. Because that's just gonna lead to something bad. I'm gonna fuck it up. Excuse my language. I'm gonna mess it up. So in order for me not to mess it up, let me either, one, I need to have my wife here all the time. You know what I'm saying? Or I need to hire an all male staff. I can guarantee, unless you're just homosexual, I can guarantee that there's nothing gonna happen then. I can guarantee that then. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that we make our own, sometimes we make our own graves. He dug his own grave. He knew damn well when he hired that girl that he was gonna do something with her. That's probably why he hired her. He knew damn well that was gonna happen. He knew damn well if he kept going in this girl raw, that she was gonna get pregnant eventually. And then what happens then? Do you leave your family for this? What do you think your job is gonna say about that? See, this is what lust does. Lust does not think about 10 years down the road. Lust only wants and is only interested in right now. And I forgot to make this point. So it's been studied in people who are hypersexual. It's been found in studies that people who are hypersexual tend to have more parasites in their blood flow. You heard me right. People that are hypersexual tend to have almost 10 times more. I'm making that number up, but they have more parasites in their blood flow, meaning that people that in order for these parasites to spread, they spread through promiscuity. Oh, it's a fact. You can Google me. People who are more hypersexual have more parasites in their blood. This is a fact. These parasites spread, and they need to spread. These the same parasites, for example, that are the same parasites as like gluttony. Correct. Demons. Correct. Now you're thinking how I'm thinking. Correct. These parasites are the same parasites that spread through like gluttony and through homosexuality and through promiscuity. So gluttony, like people that tend to eat more. They tend to have more parasites in their bloodstream as well. Particular types of parasites. People that are homosexual tend to have more parasites that are spread through fecal matter and through the vaginal. You know what I'm saying? They spread that way as well. And then people who are hypersexual have more parasites that are spread through fecal matter, through vaginal fluid, through multiple sexual partners. They have more parasites. So literally, it's bugs having sex with bugs. When I learned this, it kind of like, I learned this about a year and a half ago. When I learned this, it kind of like reconstructed my mind on how I think about women, how I think about being a hoe. I used to be a hoe, for sure. I used to be a hoe, for sure. For sure. For sure. And it's very easy to go back to being a hoe unless you check yourself. And the way that you check yourself is don't put yourself in a position to fail. Freak offs, hell nah, boy. Now you're tripping, boy. Unless you're speaking for you. Hell yeah, no more freak offs, dog. That's probably that's the way I look at it, like a freak off and all that stuff is stuff like Diddy and all them type of people. They had so many parasites that that's the reason that they had to do all these drugs and stuff too, to nullify them, to numb themselves because of their hypersexuality. Then people, this is why it says in the word that wickedness is done in high places. That's an example. This Michigan head football coach is an example of wickedness getting done in high places. If you think about it like that, you'll probably be like me in relation to, you'll be like, dang. So that kind of makes sense though. Cause like when you get horny, it's almost an uncontrollable feeling. Not to say that humans don't naturally get this urge, but there's a difference from someone who is disciplined with this urge for their designated partner than somebody who is a hoe just feeling man and woman, male and female, because I'm not men or women that do this. But that's difference between you know what I'm saying? Somebody who's feeling this urge, like, man, where my girl at? You know what I'm saying? Or for my women, where my dude at? You know what I'm saying? That's different than somebody who's like, boy, where the hoes at? Man and female, male and female, where the hoes at? That's different. And the difference is that parasite is speaking for you. That's why it's such an uncontrollable feeling. That's a bug, bro. I didn't put this in the thumbnail. I should have put it in the thumbnail, but I just thought about it as I'm talking to y'all now, that these people are being led by insects in their blood. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting, and it only leads, and it's demonic. Demons look like parasites. Now you know. So, moral of the story for that first topic is that if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. If it doesn't start overnight, like he didn't just wake up one day like, yo, I'm about to go have sex with my assistant. He didn't just wake up one day and do that. It's an accumulation of days. It's a series of moments. It's the in-between times. It's the little looks and glances that happens over the course of months, days, hours, being in close proximity with one another. Because energy is spoken before words are ever transpired. Before there's ever a transcript, there's been this energy. Y'all know this. I'm pretty sure it ain't no versions on here. Y'all know how that go. It's energy. Some things don't need to be said. They're understood. And what's understood with this guy and that woman was that they gonna fuck up their lives because of lust. So if you don't want to be like that guy, you don't want to be like him, you don't want to be like Tiger Woods, you don't want to be like Leonardo DiCaprio, and dating just women who are astronomically younger than you. I don't want to be like that no more either. I've done this as well. I've done all these things. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not speaking from a place of ignorance. You don't want to be like him. You don't want to be like Leonardo DiCaprio. You don't want to be like Tiger Woods. You don't want to be like R. Kelly and just being an outright pedophile. You don't want to be, you don't want to be like Solomon and having the lust of wisdom, because that's another form of lust too. Knowledge is a form of lust. The seeking of just supreme knowledge so that you can wield that power over others and use it to control others or to manipulate and control the world around you. That's also a form of lust as well. If you don't want to be like that, if you don't want to be like Samson, whose lust caused him to not even see that he was being lined up to be set up the whole time. If you don't want to be like these people, have sexual discipline. And you might be like, okay, bro, I'm kind of like stuck right now. So how do I have sexual discipline? This is how you can have sexual discipline right now. You're not going to like the answer, but this is how you do it. You got to look yourself in the mirror and you got to be like, yo, you do realize that there's no end to my lust, right? Like there's never going to be a moment where, okay, this is enough. Like this is enough. This is enough. I got enough. There's never going to be enough. There's never going to be a moment where there's enough. So you need to realize that, one. And then two, you got to kind of cut it off cold turkey. You do. I'm trying, in simpler words, and like they call it ebonics. And ebonics, you got to cut your hose off, bro. You got to cut your hose off, bro. You do. I did it. I'm telling you. If I can do it, I know dang well you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, bro. I'm a monster with whatever I do. I'm just using this energy for something positive now. If I'm on a hose, I'm all the way on it. Believe me. If y'all think I'm passionate now about this, just imagine me on some bullshit. I'm telling you, bro, you have to cut it off. You got to go cold turkey, bro. That's the only way to do that. You can't ease into it. You can't, ease your way up out of having, different men or different women every night, like every weekend, like whatever the case may be, or what, And then too, you got to realize too, bro, ma'am, sir, whenever you are in this spirit of lust, you got to realize too how it controls every facet of your life. When I started realizing that and sitting back and thinking about that, I'm like, damn, bro, I can't even go to a store without thinking some crazy shit. I can't even go to the groceries. I can't even go pump gas, do things that I need to do for myself without thinking something crazy. That's a problem. I have no control over my thoughts because you are filled with parasites. So this means I can never be your hoe. Moving forward with the conversation. No, I don't want hoes. In all seriousness, I don't want hoes. The next thing for me will be a wife. I don't want hoes. You know what I mean? I've had that, and it doesn't lead to nothing good for me. It don't lead to nothing good for me. I've tried that. You know what I mean? I've tried to have multiple women in my phone that I text every day and that I just like rotate. You know what I'm saying? She come over Monday, she come over Tuesday too, and Wednesday. But after her, she gonna come over. You feel me? Like I tried to do that. It don't lead to nothing. That's your whole day. That's your whole day. Texting these different, what? For my women, y'all know how it is. Texting different dudes and entertaining. You got to figure out which one that's your whole day. I don't have time for that. I would not, check this out. I would not be able to do this if I was on some Michigan head football coach shit. I would not be able to do this. I would not be able to sit here in front of you. I'll be thinking, where the hell, what the fuck I'm talking to y'all for? You know what I'm saying? I got this big ass house. I'm about to turn up. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to turn up for sure. Nah, bro. I would be destroying myself. And there's no love and lust. There's no love and lust. Take it from me, bro. There's no love and lust. It's not. So, to surmise that point, this man ruined this part of his life because he had no control over his thoughts, over his lowest desires, which was to see what he can do, see what he can get up out of that. You know what I'm saying? Seeing what he could finesse out this situation right here. You know what I'm saying? He ruined it. So you ever heard of the saying fumbling the bag? He fumbled the bag. Drastically fumbled the bag. And I'm sitting back looking at this guy like, 30 million. If I'm gonna be, first and foremost, if I'm gonna be a hoe, $30 million. Well, one, you got to understand that you're in the spotlight in this position as well. Like you're in a major spotlight in this type of position as well. But $30 million, check it out. If I'm not feeling my wife no more, let me go ahead and just do the right thing and ruin my family the right way. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not feeling my wife no more, if she can't hold my attention like that no more, $30 million, let me go ahead and just ruin my family the right way. Let me go ahead and divorce her and ruin my kids' family life, and you know what I'm saying, and their home life. Let me go ahead and fuck that up real quick, the right way. You know what I'm saying? And then go about my business. $30 million. And it don't gotta be my assistant. And if she really like me, for $30 million, if my assistant really likes me for $30 million, go ahead and quit, shorty. Quit. And then we can fuck with each other. We can mess with each other. Excuse my language. We can mess with each other. You know what I'm saying? If that's what we gonna do. But what y'all have both done is y'all have ruined y'all face card. And in a position like being an assistant on a football team, you think anybody gonna hire this girl now? She be having sex with the boss. We can't. You cost us money. Now we got to go hire somebody else. Now we got to go re-sign contracts. Now we got to go, we got to worry about this legal situation. Now we got to handle these press runs. That's costing the university money. Now we have to clean up the mess that y'all started just by humping. Y'all played yourself. $30 million. Again, go ruin your family the normal way. And go have her quit. And then y'all can be in an actual relationship with each other. But that's not what they wanted. See, that's not what lust does. Lust is the lust of the taboo, is the lust of damn, we not supposed to be doing this at all. We can ruin our lives for sure. We can get caught for sure. Damn, this feel good. That's what make it feel good. That's how that go. That's what make it feel good. That's how that go. They never really wanted to do that shit the right way. You think he'll leave his family for her for real the right way? Maybe, actually, maybe. But, you know, it feels better to be sneaking. It feels way better. Because these parasites have crept into his lowest and which is kind of like the serpentine mindset, which is like the lowest form of humanity. Because you know we all got a serpent. Part of our brain is like that of a snake, right? It's like reptilian, right? Because we're like half snake and shit. Like they don't really talk about this in human. I mean, anyways, part of our brain is like serpentine. So in that lowest desire, that parasite activates that and just and explodes dopamine into that part of our psyche to where literally that's all he thinks. That's why his football team can't win. Because all he was doing was thinking about getting some head after the game or something. That's all you can think about. When you in lust, that's literally all you can think about. Boy, what's she doing? You know what I'm saying? I need some head right now. I mean, I could not be here and be sexually disciplined, be abstinent. I'm putting my business out there because I want y'all to know that I'm transparent. I could not be sexually disciplined and be abstinent and be consistent like this had I not have some discipline to myself. I would fuck it up. I'm using bad words, I know, but it's true. I would fuck it up. Badly. I would ruin it. I would ruin it. I'd be just like dude. And I'm not gonna be nothing like dude. So use this as an example to don't put yourself in a position to fail. You know what I'm saying? Now that we got that out the way, that lust is the fall of humanity. Let's talk about some other stuff that I am very interested in, and that kind of like will help you understand kind of like where you are in the world, what's going on actually in this life that we find ourselves in. Let's talk about the Great Wall of China real quick before we get to the giants. Who here in the class, you can raise your hand, who here in the class thinks that the Great Wall of China, y'all know the Great Wall of China, right? We should all know that, right? The big old wall that spans from it's like in miles, I think it's like over 1,000 miles long or something like that. But anyways, who thinks that the Chinese built the Great Wall of China? Raise your hand. I just got a light, so I'm not sure. I saw one hand raised. You think the Chinese built the Great Wall of China? Who else? Who else thinks that the Chinese built the Great Wall of China? All right, so we got mixed results. That's enough. I'm good. I have a sample size. It's 50-50. You know what I'm saying? So here's what I think, y'all. And here's the actual thought process behind this. So let's talk about how I used to think, and let's talk about how I think now. How I used to think, I used to just believe what I was told, right? Like the Chinese built this, the Ming Dynasty, which is the first major dynasty of the Chinese Empire that defeated it was a peasant. You know, it was a come up. It was the greatest come up story of all time. It was a peasant who defeated the Mongols, Genghis Khan and them. He defeated, chill out, bro. He defeated the Mongols and kept them out of mainland China. And they crowned him emperor after that, the Ming Dynasty. So the Ming Dynasty, the first dynasty of China, is where you get this Great Wall of China from. So they say. I used to believe that. Then I also started to believe, based on the architecture of the wall is, so if you look at the Great Wall of China, and this is what conspiracy theorists say, Tartarian theorists say, if you look at the Great Wall of China, the wall is facing like, you know, the China is right here, but like the steps and stuff for the wall, and just like you know how it is, it's like to keep the Chinese in. It's not to keep whatever out from China. It's like to keep them away from, keep the Chinese away from coming over here. That's what the wall, the architecture of the wall is set up like, to keep y'all away from coming over here, not to keep us from coming over there. That's backwards. However, I used to think like this, and that had me sold for a while, but let me submit this to you. I'm not telling y'all what I think yet, by the way. I'm just giving y'all both sides of the coin. However, this is what y'all need to know about the wall too. On this same wall though, it also, there are points strategically where because of the terrain and because of the mountain, certain parts of the wall have to face inwards, certain parts of the wall have to face outwards in order to set up a tactical position from their enemies. So basically what I'm saying is because of strategy and because of, again, just building along an imperfect structure like a mountain, they had to build the wall certain different type of ways. I just learned this. So when I learned that, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. That makes sense. Like that for strategy purposes, the wall couldn't just look one way. I get that because, you know, the mountain, sometimes the mountain is low. So I might need to build it this way. Sometimes the mountain is high. I might need to build it that way. Sometimes the mountain is going like this. So I need to build like this. You know what I mean? Like I get that because of terrain and strategy, I need to have things kind of be different. And when you study the art of war, you need to have things different. Everything can't just be one way. You will get destroyed that way. So looking at it from that perspective, I'm like, okay, maybe the Ming Dynasty had something to do with the construction of parts of the wall. That's what I believe. I believe the Ming Dynasty has something to do with parts of the construction of the wall, but they are not the creators of the wall. The same thing, I look at it like this, yo. Like, for example, how we talk about like those ancient pyramids and stuff. You could say in Egypt, but I'm taking it to South America. How they say the ancient pyramids and like the Mayan and Aztecian empires and stuff. You know how those structures and you know what's the one, the lost city of somebody remind me in the comments, please. But the lost city in South America, that's Machu Picchu, stuff like that. Well, if you ask the ancient Mayans and the ancient Aztecians, not traditional science, if you ask them who built those structures, they will tell you themselves that they did not build them. That they basically inherited them as they were wandering and finding somewhere to live. That these things were already built before they got there. They don't teach you this in mainstream history, mainstream science. You got to read between the lines. You got to do your own research. But when you learn that, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Y'all ain't built that? So then what the fuck? Why am I praising y'all as like what? So then what we doing here? What we doing? What we doing? What we doing? Y'all didn't build that. So wait a minute, if y'all ain't built that, who else ain't built stuff? One of the previous videos where I was talking about ancient Tartaria 2 days ago, I was supposed to talk more about ancient Mu. Ancient Mu is the first civilization that was, I believe, before the flood of mankind. Ancient Mu was the first civilization before like an ancient Sumeria or before like an ancient Mesopotamia. Ancient Mu. So ancient Mu is where is also correlated with like ancient Atlantis and ancient Tartaria. It's like all in the conspiracy realm. Like they don't really sure if it did exist or if it didn't exist. Anyways, what I'm saying is that these, but with Mu, ancient Mu, we kind of like know that ancient Mu did exist. That there was definitely a society that predated the flood. Sumerians talk about it. Everybody talks about a great society that existed before the flood. That's ancient Mu. Anyways, ancient Mu will tell you that they built the pyramids, and that ancient Egypt, Egypt or Kemet didn't really build anything. I know that That's kind of like a mind. You know what I'm saying? They didn't build anything. What I'm saying is that most of society, these great structures that we have no idea how they got here, they were here before the people that we give credit to got there. They were already there. I wonder how many times we've had resets too. I think this is like I'm pretty sure this is like, y'all ever watch Rick and Morty? I'm pretty sure this is like Earth version 99C7 67-12 7Z. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure it's that high up as far as how many times we've reset. I'm pretty sure it's that high up for sure. I'm pretty sure it's that high up. So what I'm saying is that I do believe that the Ming Dynasty did build parts of the Great Wall of China, or they had to reconstruct some areas of it because this wall had already been here predating their civilization. Because ancient Chinese civilization, as although it does go back thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, we can still trace it back to the first. And that wall was already there before the first. So, being that that's true, who the heck built that? Who did that? Who did that? Who did that? Well, let's talk about who did it. So, in the last episode where we were talking about ancient Tartaria and stuff like that, we talked about how it was theorized that it might have been some giants. I know that's crazy, y'all. I know that sounds crazy. I know I sound crazy talking about some giants. I know I sound crazy talking about some giants. I know I do. I sound crazy talking about some giants. I know. But hold the phone. Look at my thumbnail right now for this video. Before you got in here, you looked at the thumbnail, right? I hope all y'all be looking at the thumbnail. Y'all just, I appreciate you if you just click when you see my name, but look at my thumbnail too, because in my thumbnail, I be telling the story. Like I get all of my topics that I be talking about is in the thumbnail. So you can look at the picture and you can kind of like gauge on what this conversation is going to be about just by looking at my thumbnail. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, if you look at my thumbnail, you see different pictures. I don't believe none of them are Photoshop. I cannot confirm or deny, but what I can say is that if you look at the thumbnail, some of the pictures you have they're early 1900s, late 1800s-esque type of photos, and they display humans. I know all of them aren't Photoshop for sure, but some of them, like one or two of them, I'm not so sure because I've never seen it before. But anyways, if you look at those pictures, you'll see the normal man of that time, which probably would have been like 5'7", 5'8", you know what I'm saying? Next to literal giants. Like these people are over 7 feet tall. Over 7 feet tall. So the concept, and there's still parts of the world, for example, Senegal. Senegal, I believe it's Senegal, right? Yeah, Senegal has some of the tallest people in the world. And it's just like, what the, Senegal has some people that are over 7'8", just walking around naturally. So it's not just a one race type of thing. It's a bloodline that has, for some reason, been overlooked. For sure. I hope you do. For sure. Was the Tartarian was tall as well? Yeah, that's what I'm getting to right now. So if you look at just the world in general, you'll see that different races of human species, literally, and we talked about that last time as well, that there's different versions of human species, that this Homo sapien version is really like, again, if we in Rick and Morty language, is like, Homo sapien, dash 11127C70. This is what this is, this version right here. You know what I'm saying? But before that, that's where you get your Homo erectus, your Homo, whatever else is called, your Neanderthal. That's where you get those other versions of humans. So it's not crazy to believe that there were other races of giants who look like you and I, but they're just naturally giant and stronger. That's your ancient Tartarian. And if you look at the thumbnail too, what they look like, I believe what they look like would have been a mixture between what you see today. It would have been a Afro-Asianic type of mix, primarily speaking, an Afro-Asianic type of mix, meaning like kind of looking like a Native American, but really, really big. You know, not the $5 Indian Native American, like the old Native Americans that really look black, like them, but like, you know, the Mongoloid type of faces. And why do I say Mongoloid? Is because they primarily existed in Asia Minor, which would have been like and then if you, okay, let me slow down a little bit. Tartaria existed in Asia. Tartaria existed in Asia Minor, which is like the down below. That's like your Australias and stuff like that. Tartaria existed in the Americas and stuff. That's not Asia Minor, but they existed down below and stuff like that. Then they existed in the Americas too. I'm talking about the map. Go look at an old world map right now. Even maps as old as the early 1900s, they show Tartar as well. And then if you go further and further back, there were more lands called Tartar. Now, I will play double advocate. Double advocate would be that Tartaria was just a word used by European colonialists to describe places on the map that they didn't understand. They labeled them as Tartaria. That's what traditional science would want you to believe. But we don't listen to traditional science. We don't listen to traditional science, do we? Traditional science told me that my people had smaller skulls and were dumber than white people. That's what traditional science used to say. Traditional science used to say that we naturally evolved from monkeys, but it's still monkeys outside. That's what traditional science say. So do we listen to traditional science? I don't know. I'm asking y'all. Do we listen to traditional science? Do you believe traditional science? Again, traditional science says that we evolved from apes, but I can go outside right now and go get me a monkey right now. So did we evolve? Or is that just a different form of a hominid? And I'm just a different version of a hominid as well. So the Great Wall of China, to surmise that point, I do not believe was constructed primarily by the Chinese. The Great Wall of China was maintenanced and maintained by the Chinese. Just the same way that ancient Kemet maintained and maintenance the ancient structures in Kemet. Just the same way that we have failed to maintain the ancient structures that is in the North America continent, you know, like in the Grand Canyon and stuff like that there that we don't talk about and that we don't have access to, we didn't maintain those structures. But the same way that all these different ethnic groups and these different societies of people stumbled upon these great wonders of the world, is the same thing that's going on today. Same thing that's going on today. We stumbled on the greatness. We are not the cause of all greatness. I'm not saying that we're stupid. I'm just saying that we stumbled on the greatness, by and large, as a race of people. And I'm talking about all people, this version of people. We stumbled on the greatness. We are not the cause of greatness. So with that being said, giants are real, dog. Again, I told y'all in the first episode of this Tartarian discussion, I told y'all that it was. Yo, I'm so sorry about that, guys. Weird. The moment I started spitting, it wants to cut off. My phone started tripping. And then on top of that, I think FBG Butter was hating on me. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all don't know anything about me and FBG Butter, like 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, he commented under one of my first videos that I did with 607 Unc. And he just commented, he didn't comment under that. He commented under a reaction video of somebody that was reacting to my first video that I did with 607 Unc. And he said, fuck SOLARMAN. So I'm pretty sure he just his hateful wishes towards me was hating on me or something like that, and caused this live to kind of like stop. But anyways, what's up, bro? Sorry about that, guys. And then too, on top of that, I think because I got this crack on the back of my iPhone, I need to get it fixed. And on this phone, but like I like the quality on this phone. And then like This is an older phone, and then I got another phone that I don't got the quality on that phone, so I like recording off this phone. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what happened. But anyways, it was a dope conversation, and it just got cut short by some weirdo stuff. And it's not like my battery was dying or something, but it's like it's weird, bro. It's weird what be going on. Um, I'm right at about 60 minutes. So I'm gonna give it I'm gonna allow some other people. I'm gonna give it about 10 more minutes because it abruptly cut off like that. So I'm gonna give it about 10 more minutes and finish my point. And hopefully we'll get some more people in here to boost those numbers up and continue the conversation that way. But anyways, as I was saying, um, just like we talked about in the last conversation, if you it was known worldwide and historically speaking that uh, you could go find giant bones. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all coming back. You can go find giant bones in different museums throughout America up until like the mid 2000s. But ever since then, it's like for some reason the Smithsonian Museum or mainstream science has been trying to sweep under the rug that giants even exist. So you gotta when you get to a place of seeing people who are what's the word, so willing to create a false narrative about what's going on, you got to kind of like start questioning everything around you and everything that you have traditionally been taught. You got to question all of that now, because now everything deserves to be questioned, because these people have given you no choice but to question everything. You feel me? I didn't buy this phone anyway. I wouldn't have bought this colored case, by the way, if any of y'all wonder. But anyways, uh, you would have to question. You would have to question everything. So since I'm in a position to question everything, and since I understand that everything that I've ever been told has only been a part of a truth, like a microscopic microcosm to something that's actually true. I have been doing further research, and as I do more research, I realize that literally everything that the institution has ever told me about anything and everything has been to some degree filled with lies. So, with that being said, where I'm at, you say I got about 7 minutes. So, with that being said, you know, China did build parts of the Great Wall, and they have maintained the Great Wall, just like ancient Kemet maintained their ancient structures, just like the Aztecian Empire maintained things that were already built there, but they did not build them. They did not build these things. They did not. They did not. See what you're talking about. Is that what the show Attack on Titan is about? Giant conspiracy of the old world. Um, so that's a great point, bro. Because I just recently kind of like tried to get into Attack on Titan, and just for that specific reason, like just for this topic, I recently tried to get on Attack on Titan, and I'm believing that it has something to do with it. It has something to do with more so a Nephilim conspiracy, you know. Whereas humanity is put into is isolated and put into pockets to survive because the world around them has become too dangerous to inhabit. So yeah, Attack on Titan is good for that. I'm actually the only thing I don't like about Attack on Titan is just it's so weird, bro. It looks so weird, bro. The animation is so weird and creepy, bro. And I don't like the music. If I other than that, it's a great theory. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna keep checking it out. But yeah, you got the right idea, dog. If you guys want to go see more about how we would have actually been living with these giants, then yeah, you should go. But I do like though how Attack on Titan doesn't have like any like the anime characters don't have like mystical powers and like they can't like Shuriken, stuff and just fly and stuff. Like I like how it's like kind of like based in realistic type scenarios. Like I do like that. So for that reason, I will continue to check out Attack on Titan, despite the horrible soundtrack and the creepy animation. I'll continue to check it out. But yeah, that was a good point. So again, to surmise my points, let's see where I'm at. Yeah, to surmise my points, yeah, China maintained their great structures. They did not build their great structures. And if we know anything about the Chinese, they will take credit for something that they didn't do. You know, just like America, just like any great civilization, they'll take credit for some stuff they did not do, and that's just the truth. You know, that's just the truth. That's just the truth. As shocking as that may be. Let's see what you said. Oh, you already said that. Okay, cool. Trying to think of what else. Um, I want to talk about. I don't know if I should save this for the next episode or if I should talk about it now. I'm gonna just go ahead and talk about it now, and then if I got more, I'll talk about it too in the next episode. So also, we talked about something. I mentioned it before, but I'm mentioning it more now. We talked about how back in the day, or even today, like if any of y'all live in the Midwest and live in cities like Chicago, or even in places on the East Coast and stuff like that, though. You'll see structures, even in Cincinnati, you'll see structures where it's like there was a house built on top of another house. You know, like there was already something here before whatever is here was here. Like, you know, basement doors would be in odd places, windows would be in odd places. You know, have you ever looked at old structures, old houses? They're really big. Like the structures and the way that houses were built back then is way better than how these flimsy urban houses and style of homes are built now. I'm not a fan of just like how old homes look. I don't like how they look, but how they're built is far more superior than how these homes are being built nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Far more superior. So anyways, I say that to say, and we'll get into this more in the next video, but I'm saying that to say that there is a conspiracy called the Great Mud Flood. And it has something to do where essentially natural disasters, natural or human provoked disasters, like cloud seeding. We've been able to cloud seed, like we've been cloud seeding. It's not a new phenomenon. But basically, we're either like a wildfire, like the great wildfire of Chicago of the 1920s that destroyed a lot of these Tartarian-esque type of structures. The Great Wildfire of Chicago. You learned that in history class, right? Stuff like that, and also a mud flood, basically a natural disaster that caused old structures to sink into the earth. And then what we did as a society and as humanity, as Americans, we just built on top of that. That's the theory. That we just built on top of that. That's the theory. So I'm inclined to believe part of that. Again, you gotta read between the lines with a lot of this stuff. Like, let's talk about for my last 4 minutes, let's talk about the Great Wildfire of Chicago, right? So in school, they teach us to be kind of like stupid, right? They taught us in school that the Great Wildfire of Chicago, the Great Fire of Chicago of 1920s, was started because a cow kicked over a lamp in a woman's barn, and then that fire spread from this house to this house to this house to that house to that house, and basically burnt up almost 3/5 of Chicago. That's what they said. That's how they say the fire started, because a cow. They blamed it on a cow. A cow kicked over some stuff, and now the whole city burned down. That's what they say. And being that, I was raised in this Rothschild education system, I believe that. I believe that up until very recently, because I didn't think about it anymore. Again, you get taught so much at an early age that you don't even really think about stuff, because you immediately after high school, you immediately get thrusted into this matrix of I gotta eat to survive. So you don't really have time to think about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, but now that I got time for it, now I'm thinking about it. That's stupid. That's retarded, bro. A cow kicked over something, so that's the reason half the city burnt down. You think I'm stupid? And then, okay, you'd be like, man, that might have happened. Things like that happen. Okay, things like that happen. If you study the fire pattern of what burnt down, the only things that burnt down were the major monuments, the Tartarian style buildings, museums and stuff like that burnt down. Things that cost money burnt down. But everything else kind of like stayed the same. So if you follow the fire pattern, it is not a normal fire pattern. It almost seems man-made and constructed and maintained. And then if that's the case, You know how many times a cow done kicked over a lamp in a barn and just that house burnt down? Plenty of times, bro. Why now? Because a great reset or a great basically like clearing the browser, a great browser clear had to be done. That's why. And I'm gonna leave y'all on that note. I appreciate y'all being here. I go by the name of SOLARMAN. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, tell everybody about us because we on our road to 100,000 views. We got about we got some more time for that, but we on the road for that, and I will accomplish that here soon. Come early January, you will see me on a video with 100,000. So I appreciate y'all being here. I love y'all with the love of Christ. I'll see y'all next time, Lord willing. Peace, love, and light to you forevermore. Your brother in this matrix.